Hello, Serj.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. How you been?
Um, I have not interviewed you in a long time, and this will tell you how long ago it was. One of the questions I had asked you was, "What's it like to be on the list of bands to watch out for in the future?" And the single was Spiders. When that's how long
Wow,
ago it's been.
first album. That's awesome, man. That's a good memory. Thank you.
Yeah, that was back in Miami. But anyway, like I said, nice to see
It's
you,
probably
man.
over the phone, right? Or was it in person?
No, it was that we were doing a radio festival, and you came and played our festival in Miami.
Cool,
And
man.
yeah, it was a great show. And obviously, I've been keeping tabs on what's going on and all the success, and just watching everything, and just remembering back to that day. And it's
Right on,
all
bro.
good, man. But like I said, great to see you.
And how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just like everybody, just trying to get through this thing, and that's we can only do the best we can do each day, right?
Exactly.
That's all we can do. Speaking of system shows, the last show that was on my concert calendar that had to get postponed was the system shows in LA that you were going to be doing a Memorial Day weekend last year.
That's right.
Those shows, I think, got placed into this year. Is that still a
They
thing?
got placed into this year and they're being pushed to the last quarter of this year right now. I don't remember the dates, but that's what it's look like. That's what it looks like is happening.
Okay, so still on the plate. I still have a chance to see you then.
Yeah, it's just like pushing and pushing and pushing. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah, we still have those two LA shows that we're gonna do, but hoping we can get them done this year.
awesome, very cool. So I hope to see you then. A lot of stuff going on with you, and so let's get into things. One of the things is the two songs that System released like last year, "Protect the Land" and "Genocidal Humanoids." That was the first music you guys had done in 15 years. What was it like to get that machine rolling again?
It wasn't the machine rolling again. It was four of us getting together and doing something outside of the band and for a cause outside of ourselves. And for that I'm extremely proud and happy that we were able to galvanize. So yeah, it was good. It was really good. We got it done pretty quick, and the idea was basically to get something out there as soon as possible and donate the proceeds to Armenia Fund, which is a large Armenian nonprofit organization. And we have consecutively, I mean, since then we've held a fundraiser on YouTube, and so between the downloads on Bandcamp, the donations on YouTube, Facebook, we've raised a lot of money for basically those in need.
Yeah, the it was for raising awareness for the conflict with Armenia and Azerbaijan. And what for those who don't know, and this is not a new thing between the two, what is the conflict that just the Reader's Digest version, if you
Uh,
can.
Simple version, historic Armenian lands, 2,500 years, these people have been living on these lands called Artsakh, otherwise known as Nagorno-Karabakh. In the 1920s, Joseph Stalin decides to give it to Azerbaijan, those lands, which are predominantly 95% Armenian populated. And when the Soviet Union collapsed, every country proclaimed independence. So this region themselves proclaimed independence. Azerbaijan didn't recognize their independence, and a war started. In 94, the Armenian forces, the people that lived there and their defense army, took over the area, including some Azerbaijani lands as security buffers. There has not been any, settlement on the conflict or peace since 1994. And this year, along with Turkey and a bunch of Syrian mercenaries, Azerbaijan attack these people and the defense forces and basically try to take over and depopulate the area. Not just take over, but depopulate the area of its indigenous population of Armenians. And so we have a lot of, uh, now there's a ceasefire since early November. There's a lot of displaced people, humanitarian catastrophe. Along with System of a Down, we've been working to raise funds for prosthetics for soldiers that lost limbs from drones, as well as Azerbaijan used banned phosphorus, white phosphorus weaponry to burn, people. So there's a lot of burn victims, and so we're bringing laser therapy from the U.S. to Armenia to help heal their wounds and scar tissue, etc., and rehabilitation.
So have you heard from the country like about your efforts and what do they say about that?
We work directly with the nonprofit and the earmarked nonprofits and the rehabilitation centers. So yeah, we work with them.
So uh, in addition to those songs, you also somehow found time to do solo stuff, and
Well,
now
I've
you've
had
got
these songs done 5 years ago, and the finished versions more than a year ago, so they were just
okay.
waiting to be released. Yeah.
So it was
Um,
already okay, already banked then, and just waiting.
the film was done. All of this was done before the war. In fact, we were going to release Elasticity in October. So when the war started in September, we decided to push it,
Mhm.
and instead, I worked with System on releasing those songs to get more, basically, awareness about what was going on in Artsakh and whatnot, and raise funds. So that became a priority. I pushed my own schedule and my own record and film release to later, and then so yeah, these were supposed to come out all last year.
Wow. So
Yeah,
let's talk about this solo thing, Elasticity. It's an EP, not an album, right?
correct. Yeah, it's an EP
Right.
of 5 songs. They're songs that were written between 6 to 4 years ago, and the short is basically that when I wrote them, it was at a time where we were contemplating working together with System on a new record, but we were unable to agree philosophically and creatively on how to move forward, and therefore I decided to finish the songs myself and release them, and yeah, there and so Elasticity is very much a rock EP, but it's also quite dynamic and diverse in terms of the songwriting, because it goes from the really crazy heavy stuff to like just really beautiful, which is kind of trademark of what I do and what System has done really for a long time.
Yeah, that's kind of a question I've had is how do you differentiate between what's a solo song and what's a system song? Is it if they don't take it, that's a solo thing? Is it that
No,
simple? Or,
no, this is the first time that we've actually even done that. In other words, usually I just write music, and depending on the genre, mind you, majority of the music I do is for scoring film and classical and all sorts of different genres, so it's not applicable to a band. But these songs, when they came, they had the raw punk intensity that System has, and that's what made me think of possibly collaborating with them on it.
I see, I see. So, you've done I'm guessing of as many solo efforts as you've done system albums. I think it's the
Well,
same.
well, I've
Do
done, I've done. Let's see, I've done 5 System records. I've done 5 records as Serj Tankian, but I've also put out another 5, 6 soundtracks as Serj
right.
Tankian. So it really depends on how you look at it.
So how do you view yourself these days? Are you viewing yourself as more of a solo artist, more of a system member, or more what?
I
How
don't
do
view
we view
myself.
you as?
I don't view myself. I let people decide how they view.
That's a
Just
good
do the work.
answer.
I just do the work and go forward.
Well, I mean, I love it all. It's all great stuff. And now you've got this movie, Truth to Power. And I mean, there's a lot of meat on this bone from the things that I've seen about it. What is the spark that led to this even happening?
In 2011, it was going to be a very busy professional year. I knew it, so I decided to record everything I did in terms of video. Strapped a camera to my head, spy glasses, had someone, tailing me, shadowing me with a camera, etc. And originally, the idea was to put out a point of like a like almost from the point of view of the artist, so you can see through my eyes. But it was just a lot of interesting, fun experiences without a proper theme. Years later, when my friend Garin Hovanesyan, the director of Truth to Power, and I were speaking, we really decided to flush out what it is that we wanted to say. And what interested me wasn't so much the biography of the behind the scenes, the rock star. None of that really interested me. What interested me was the storyline of the activist that had a small voice before he was able to I was able to propagate it through music and expand my voice. throughout that process, and then the results, what are the results? Some good, some bad repercussions of being an activist and an artist, as well as some of the incredible things that you see come to fruition as an artist activist. For example, the proper recognition of the Armenian genocide by US Congress in December 2019 was something that System of a Down and I have been kind of fighting for and raising awareness for since day one, because all our grandparents are survivors of that genocide by the Turkish government. So, that's one example, I think, and we're lucky that we actually got to see the fruits of our labor as activists, because most activism does not, you don't see that kind of stuff. You just work and work, and you might not see it in your lifetime, that kind of a thing.
What do you think is the biggest message that you're bringing with this film? What is the biggest thing to come
Change
out
is
of it?
possible. Peaceful change is possible. Um, Vision, in having a vision for change is necessary. Um, and there's many messages in there. It's okay to be an artist and an activist. Um, because when someone disagrees with me politically, or in terms of anything, they usually say, just shut the fuck up and go make music, kind of thing, you know. And I despise the fact that humans think that we're specialists at anything. We I mean, you might have something that you've studied, but you might have something that you're good at, and then you probably have a hobby that you're really into. Most people are into more things than one, and to it's a shortcut to thinking to assume that everyone has to be one thing. um, so I find that interesting. It's to dispel that. It's many messages, really.
You talk about having differences in opinion, and one of those is with your drummer John. Politically, at least on the American side of things, how do
Right.
you guys, come to a meeting of minds within the band when you have conflict of that ideal?
It's funny. I was just picking up my son from the park. He had a little play group, socially distanced play group, and he was arguing with a friend, but also pushing him because he's 6 and he's got a lot of adrenaline. And I'm trying to teach him to disagree and still love and still be okay and respectful. And that's literally what it is. So when it comes to U.S. politics, John and I have been on the opposite spectrum. Both of us very impassioned about what we feel, but we're family. He's my brother-in-law, he's my drummer, he's my friend. So I try not to talk American politics with him. When it comes to Armenian stuff, we're all on the same page and unified and working together. And music stuff, obviously, given, but that's going to happen.
It's interesting because you just brought out something that I was going to ask you, which is about your young son. I wasn't sure exactly how old he was, but I was going to ask you how you approach bringing some of these things that are happening to educate him. What sort of things do you tell him, or what sort of things do you educate him on, so that he learns about his culture and his heritage and that
Yeah,
stuff?
it's a gradual process at the age that he's at. He's 6 years old, and certain things he grasps, and a lot of things just go over his head. So I kind of gauge what he's prepared to understand, accept, um, and whatnot, and try to work at it in his language as much as possible. And so that but I don't. I just wait for him to be interested in a lot of stuff, including music and including art and everything. And it's all around him, there for him. But I look for the passion to then feed him, because a child with passion is hungry. A child without passion being fed is usually rejecting stuff. One
And,
second, I'm gonna grab
and do
water.
you see any passion for music in him?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
He does love his uncle John, my drummer, and his uncle gave him a nice set of small drums
Oh, nice.
uh, that he made sure was in the house, that can definitely ruin our listening experience in life.
Yes.
Um, and no, he plays a little music, not a lot. He paints, but he sings a lot. I mean, he's got an incredible memory for melodies,
Oh, that's
and
fantastic.
so and that's kind of how the Rumi song came together, because my piano is actually in the house. It's not in the studio. And when I'm, kind of fiddling with an idea, I'm on it, and his playroom's right there. So he
Mhm.
hears me, I hear him. And so as I'm playing, he'll start like making, this is a number of years ago actually. So now he actually speaks and sings. But at the time, he was younger, and so he would just make these noises to my piano. So then I'd react by singing about him, so he'll pay attention, and there would be some kind of fun things happening. And that was the demo of the song Rumi
Oh, wow.
that I wrote. And then I realized that, look, I can't change the words because it's almost like it organically became that about him, but also about the poet Rumi, his namesake, basically,
Mm,
who has inspired generations you know, um, of lovers, not physical lovers, but people that love.
right.
He's the predominant love poet on the planet. Actually, he's a 12th century Persian Sufi poet.
That's fantastic. So let's go back to the movie for a second because we don't have a lot more time. The movie is going to be available for streaming beginning this Friday. Am I correct?
The movie, they're doing this virtual theatrical thing. COVID changed the landscape, obviously. So you can go to the website truthtopowerfilm.com, and there'll be like a slew of different websites that you can buy tickets for and basically stream the film at a particular time. So this is the first stage of the release, and then the second stage later down the line will be like your typical iTunes video on demand thing, and then later streaming. But so technically the virtual theatrical release is Friday.
Okay, so I'm very excited about this. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I can't wait. I know I'm gonna love it. I already know because I love all the stuff you do. I'm a big fan.
I hope
So
you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it, truly.
yeah, I wish you some great success with it. And going back to the first time I interviewed you, just as cool as the first time, Serge. Just as
Thank you,
cool.
brother.
You
I
haven't changed
appreciate
it.
that. I
And
appreciate it.
and
And
I
thank you for the
appreciate you.
memory jog in memory.
What's that?
Thank you for the memory jog. Thank
Oh
you for
yeah,
reminding.
yeah. And
Yeah.
thanks for the time. And hopefully we get to chat soon.
Likewise, brother. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Take care.
Cool, brother. Bye-bye.
See ya.